Rise and shine, my people. Welcome back to the channel. This is Evan Aga at the Astrophysique. I want to start off this video by saying thank you to all 1,231 subscribers at the time of recording this. My channel has grown so much in just the last 28 days alone, and I have you to thank for that, and I really appreciate your love and support. Thank you so much. Jumping right in, the topic of this video is 3 reasons you should not compete in the Alphalete Summer Shredding Competition. Now, for those of you who don't know, I myself competed in the Alphalete Summer Shredding Competition back in 2021. It was October something, around the end of October. I competed in men's physique in Class C, I think it was, and I placed 3rd in my class. So I didn't win my class. I did not go on to the overall, but I want to make it clear that's not the reason why I'm telling you might not want to compete. And keep in mind, this is just my opinion, my perspective. I'll be making another video on 3 reasons you should compete in the summer shredding competition, just to keep it balanced and give you a perspective from both sides of the coin. Now, don't get me wrong. My experience in competing was absolutely incredible, and I wouldn't take it back even if I could. However, I do think there are some drawbacks or some things you might want to consider, especially if you're not fully aware of how these competitions work. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first reason I think you should not compete in the Alphalete Summer Shredding Competition is because it's just simply a money grab. Now, the same can certainly be said about all of these bodybuilding shows, but that's something that I'll touch on in just a little bit. Regarding the Alphalete show specifically, every single little thing costs money, and not just a little bit of money, a premium. Because Alphalete has such a popular brand, they know people are going to pay whatever the price is for the tan, for the competition itself, for the videographer passes, for the photos and videos that you get from the show. Everything costs an absolute premium. I remember I paid almost maybe $300 for my videographer to get a backstage pass with me. And that pass ended up being just a little blue wristband I could have picked up from Walmart had I known what it was going to look like beforehand. Now, I'm not necessarily the type of guy to cheat the system like that, but it was a little bit frustrating when they handed me the wristband that I just paid $300 for, and I saw that it was nothing special at all. I was a little bit salty. On top of that, and again, this is just my personal experience, so this very well might not happen to you, but I spent nearly between $100 and $200 on spectator tickets for my mom and my brother to come watch the show. I balled out on these tickets, right? I wanted them to sit front row because I knew I was looking shredded, and I wanted them to get some videos and pictures of me from the crowd. Come to find out, on the day of the show, Alphalete, or whoever was in charge of this process, oversold the seats. So my mom and my brother came to sit down only to find someone else sitting in their seat with a valid ticket. Now, of course, they went to go report it, and we were promised a refund, which we never got, by the way. But what's most disappointing is they had to go sit in the back of the auditorium and not in the front row where we had originally purchased our tickets. This was just a complete lack of professionalism from Alphalete, or again, whoever was managing this process, which I'm sure was somebody from the Alphalete team, and it didn't really sit well with me. Call me salty, call me whatever you want. I'm not the one who made the mistake, so who's really to blame? Honestly, I could talk more about that, but I don't want it to turn into some rant. I have 2 more points to get into here, so just sit tight. The second reason why I think you should not compete in the Alphalete Summer Shredding Competition is because this show does not help you to go pro. If you're somebody who is looking to seriously compete in bodybuilding or men's physique, whatever the case is, I'll put that all under one umbrella. If you're looking to take bodybuilding seriously, then more than likely your goal is to go pro. If you want to go pro, first you have to win a local NPC show which qualifies you for a national show. When you win a national show, that's when you get your pro card. Alphalete is in no way affiliated with NPC. This show is completely their own doing and their own way of allowing people who are interested in competing to step on stage and showcase their physique. But it doesn't help you go pro. It's literally just for the experience and fun of doing a show. Now, I know many guys who did this show as somewhat of a warm-up show for their local show or for their national show, and that's not a bad idea if you are somebody who is taking competing seriously. But again, it just comes down to, do you have $1,000 to shell out on doing this show as a warm-up show just for fun when it doesn't really count for anything? Really, this show is built off the back of the Alphalete brand itself, and if it wasn't for Alphalete being such a popular brand, this show wouldn't even exist. That leads me to my third and final point for why you should not compete in the Alphalete Summer Shredding competition, and that is the level of competition itself. Now, of course, when you are the best of the best, when you are the champion, then this in no way applies to you or even phases you. But the level of competition at these Alphalete shows has gotten ultra high. Because Alphalete is such a popular brand and they offer quite a big prize in their own right for winning the show, this show attracts people from all over the country, if not all over the world. On one hand, you have a lot of kids who have never competed before and they want to do this show as a way of getting experience and getting their feet wet in competing. On the other hand, you have guys who have been competing for years. They might not be pro, but they're well on their way to becoming pros, and maybe they're doing this show just for fun, just as a warm-up for their national show. I remember the gentleman who won the overall in men's physique the year I competed had just recently come off a win at the Amateur Olympia. Now that guy was looking crazy. You could tell before any of us even stepped on stage who was going to win. And props to him, he definitely deserved it. I don't feel bad about the situation at all. But I'm trying to think about it from the perspective of someone who went into the show with high hopes. Maybe it was their first competition, they didn't know what to expect, and they ended up getting blown out of the water. That's it. That's my perspective on 3 reasons for why you should not compete in the Alphalete Summer Shredding competition. I'll be following this up with a video for 3 reasons why you should compete, so stay tuned for that. I want to say thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for supporting me in my journey, and I'll see you in the next one. Shoot for the stars.